heading into Haven. This is once again TSM's preferred map. Very good on it, and it's going to start off with some action. Ladies and gentlemen, if you blink, you miss it. Kills have already been traded back and forth. 100 Thieves just down to 2 members left as blood is shed all across the middle of the map. TSM with personnel advantage.
So far, so good for TSM. Definitely hungry after that loss on Ascent, down to one final player, Hiko. A lot of members from TSM are injured, so he's going to find the trade. Hiko himself is a little worse for wear. Another shock dart sent through. It's not going to find its mark onto Sabrosa, or sorry, rather Hayes, as he hightails over towards the A side. The turret will find out that he's located over there. Hiko now going to start to make his way back over. Sabrosa waiting for the cross. You see him positioned around the courtyard. He's waiting for Hiko to make his way through the B site, but he goes all the way back around. And so now Sabrosa's like, okay, by now he should have crossed. Now I'm going to start to get involved, and he finds the frag. Hayes has got to make his way all the way back towards the A side. Thankfully, he'll be there in time. Now it's down to the 1v1. 17 HP up against what I assume is close within that range. No shock dart here for Hiko, so he can't play for time. But Hayes has this planted in a perfect spot. Hiko thinks it's planted for long, but now the defuse comes through. There's no way. Hayes thought maybe he didn't hear, maybe he didn't understand. I don't know what happened. But that's so unfortunate for Hayes. He's sitting there, he's chilling out. Was that Hayes? Yes, it was Hayes. That's rough. Pros don't fake, man. They don't fake.
They don't indeed, and that's such a difficult situation too, because at that point you're guessing. How often do we see, I know the saying pros don't fake, but how often do we see, especially in a 1v1 like that with short time, somebody tap and then go aggressively, right? Go hunting. So for Hayes, there really was a 50-50 there. Unfortunately, he guessed incorrectly. And I can't think of an appropriate word to say on stream, but the guts, I guess that's appropriate. The guts that it took for Hiko to stick that there was huge. And then to start off with that as well, this is looking good, at least early on for 100 Thieves, but TSM once again with the personnel advantage.
3v4 gun round for 100 Thieves, but it's not really working out. They still can definitely make it hurt. TSM a little stuck here on the long side, but they'll trade, upgrade here for drones as they make their way onto the A side. Steel gonna flank from behind, but unfortunately, this purchase for 100 Thieves is just, oof. TSM really just slipping away with this round, really answering back for that mistake from the round prior. A little bit of a misunderstanding, I'd imagine, but now it's just down to Steel. He's got a Spectre in tow. Can he 1v3? We're about to find out.
No, he cannot. Hayes is able to take care of things with the Spectre of his own. We're going to knot things up at 1 apiece, and now you begin to ask questions around 100 Thieves' economy and what that looks like. Dicey is going to have enough to buy up, but the rest of the boys in blue are not going to be nearly as fortunate. You see Asuna is going to bring in a Stinger. Steel, Nitro, and Hiko with pistols across the board, and if you're TSM, this is where you reap the benefits of winning that last round. They've got guns across the board. They're going to have a severe artillery advantage here up against 100 Thieves.
This is the side that TSM are most comfortable with when it particularly pertains to Haven. So far in the close qualifier, better win percentage on the attack, 67% to the defensive side on 56%. In the open qualifier, it was more favored towards the defense, but I'd imagine when you look at Haven logically, it is an attacker-sided map with a lot of sites for the defense to defend, and the rotations take forever to get from one side to the next. And for the first time from TSM, looking at the C-side hit, which is going to be pretty consistent throughout the rest of this first half, but it's all down to Nitro. He's holding down the line, but he cannot hold it down for long. Dicey now going to be looking for the players down long, not able to convert onto that frag. He's got to run. He's got a tailwind, and Drone mows down 3. It's all down to Hiko in a 1v4. Sheriff in tow, not really going to be able to do a whole lot. Broza will take him down, and TSM convert on that second round.
And a very important round win for TSM because it needed to go that way for them, right? We talked about the weapons early on and how much of an impact that can make. So for TSM, for them to be able to hold serve that way is really important. Now, once again, we find 100 Thieves in a situation where they don't have a ton to work with, right? Pistols all the way across the board. TSM, again, still in a position to continue to pile it on. And furthermore, I missed who it was, but somebody on TSM is going to be bringing in a Spectre, and they have 7,100 credits to work with. They're investing for the long run here. Thank you. It's hazed.
I think we're going to have to really slow down the pace of the analysis and really see what 100 Thieves can do in that following gun round. This is obviously not going to be one that I think they're going to be able to really pack a punch, but after that second round, 100 Thieves could not really find a whole lot of success from the pushes here from TSM. We're looking at the B side execute. Smokes are starting to go down. Players are starting to fall for 100 Thieves. And they get onto this site really with relative ease. Down to 2 final players. They're likely going to be the next to fall. Spike is planting. You know, if you're 100 Thieves, you're really starting to think about that next round. We'll have to hold that thought as Dicey's going to find one at least early. Hiko will send that shock dart through, but with 4 members with Phantoms for TSM, I don't imagine it's going to be a very easy hill to overcome. It all breaks down to Hiko. He's going to get sprayed. He's going to get pre-fired. Cutler will take him down. But now, Doug, we're going to have to pay attention to this next round very closely. How are 100 Thieves with all these credits going to bounce back?
Yeah, and there really wasn't anything super fancy or flashy about how TSM played that. They just knew that they were stronger in that moment. They were coming in from a position of power, and they just brute force their way right up mid, right? Smokes on the cuts, just go right in, take the gunfights, and they're able to win them. As we saw, furthermore, the aggression which with TSM is willing to play there. You saw Sabrosa rotate all the way around to try to impact the fight in some way, and he didn't show up in time to get in on the action, but the outcome at that point had already been decided. You mentioned now that both teams have guns. What can 100 Thieves do? The defense, a bit more aggressive, as you see, two have already worked all their way all the way down C.
You're dead.
This will be a good one. Drone already makes his way on site for TSM. Steel. Oh no, Steel gets sucker punched.
Yeah, he was focused on the audio cue coming from the long side. 100 Thieves had invested a lot of their resources in Nitro and Dicey towards that C long side, anticipating maybe a late round push of some kind, but TSM were interested in the A side all along. You know, we often see, especially from T1, you and I have been in that group for the majority of this tournament, you know, players like Skadoodle applying more pressure towards the sewer side than the C long side and playing retake towards the C side. 100 Thieves are anticipating C pushes round after round, and TSM are like, yeah, what about it? We're not going to hit C. We're going to condition you that the A side is where we want. And then where you statistically have the most success on Haven is attacking that C side. So 100 Thieves just read that incorrectly and TSM get the plant. But it's still a 4v5. 100 Thieves, like you said, have guns. They may be looking to pick TSM members off as they exit the site.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to have time to really impact things. You've got a couple of members from 100 Thieves, Asuna and Nitro. They're waiting, and they're certainly going to get their chance here. Asuna is up first, able to take care of Hayes. Nitro on the crossfire as well. He's going to get pushed off as Asuna goes down, but Nitro gets the last laugh. Sabrosa taken out. TSM win the round. There are going to be a couple of ultimates to keep an eye on going into the next round. 4 on the side of 100 Thieves.
A lot to think about, but the round that they were supposed to convert did not really pan out in their favor. Another shot at redemption here. Steel, the only one going to feel left out. Might get a drop here from Nitro, depending on how they want to play the economy out. Or he may be looking to... Yep, he will end up getting something, somehow, some way. See, I think there was a drop in the defender's spawn. So, another round, another attempt. TSM, once again, looking towards the A side to start, but a little bit more presence towards the C side, because ultimately that is the easier one to hit. Now they're going to use the run it back from 100 Thieves, thinking, oh yeah, well, they went A side last time, right? They're bound to do it again, right? I'm sure of it. And as you see now, they read correctly. They're saying, okay, they're not hitting the A side. We cleared it. Let's give presence towards the C side. It's really just a ring around the rosy of who can pull who off of what side first. Dicey finding that pick really opens things up, though, for 100 Thieves.
And I think for 100 Thieves, the important thing there was not seeing anything on the initial run it back did not result in them swinging everything. But what did swing is Sabrosa. He sneaks his way in through garage. He's able to get 2 big kills there.
You know, I was kind of keeping that in the peripheral vision. The fact that 100 Thieves had committed so much to the A side and then were starting to pull it back, it gave Sabrosa a lot of time since they were very passive around the center of the map. Now we're seeing the plant start to go down, or at least momentarily it will. They're waiting for that Hunter's Fury to finally finish. And now it's the 3v4 retake. Still doable for 100 Thieves, but it's going to be difficult considering TSM have managed to get to themselves into perfect positions. Look at this paranoia ready from Sabrosa. If Hazed is going to fall here, he's going to be able to swing hard, and he is going to try. Well, unfortunately, he didn't swing. The paranoia does come through. He needs support there from Color down the long side. The shot's going to start to come through. The Classic's going to send him down. It's all up to Wardell alongside Color.
Yeah, you hear the pings coming out on where the spike is. They begin to defuse the spike, and the Hunter's Fury's there. The operator from Wardell is there as well, but Dicey actually gets the best of him. Color, however, was able to take care of Asuna. A 2v1, Dicey trying to stick it. Color's gonna have to go aggressive. Color somehow gets the shot, but Hiko trying to defuse it. He's gonna be able to get back on it and defuse the spike. That one went down to the wire, but it goes in favor of 100 Thieves.
So I think one thing there for Sabrosa, I highlighted that once the paranoia came through, he needed to swing. That was the most important part. Hazed was playing close to the default plant spot. Sabrosa needed to swing to find 2 picks. Instead, he throws the paranoia, stays behind the box. I think he's a little afraid to see. He doesn't know how many are on the opposite side. I don't know if Hazed may have seen it or if he called it out, however many were there. But maybe Sabrosa thought, maybe I didn't paranoia everyone, and I might just be risking my life. But ultimately, it was down to Sabrosa to win that round.
It's a very patient performance, as you alluded to, obviously, with that paranoia there, not swinging. Dicey able to get an important opening pick onto Sabrosa. TSM not fully invested on a site quite yet. They certainly have strong presence over towards A, and that's exactly where Hiko's going to be sending in some utility to try to get some information. Don't know that he's going to spot anyone, but folks, that's exactly where TSM is.
At least they have a lot of presence here from 100 Thieves. They found that early pick onto Sabrosa. They find another pick onto Hazed. Dicey really keeping TSM at bay. Now the flash is going to make matters worse for Wardell. Asuna backs up. And now it's just down Cutler and Drone. Make that just Drone, as now Asuna is about to go in. He's going to use the fire to heal himself up. Finds himself in a gun duel between himself and Drone. But there's 4 players that remain for 100 Thieves. Shot cards start to come through. That's an operator shot. Now he swings, cannot find the success onto Hiko, who mows him down with a bulldog of all things. But 100 Thieves hot on the tail of TSM, keeping the rounds within 1.
Yeah, very good resilience shown by 100 Thieves there to respond after losing 4 rounds in a row, especially the way that they have. It looked like TSM early on just had 100 Thieves' number. They were pulling them back and forth across the map, and 100 Thieves always felt like they were a step behind on the defensive side, but they seem to have recollected themselves. Steal with the slower start on this map, but as we saw, much like the last map, it was Dicey and Asuna who lit up the kill feed early on. We'll see if they're going to be able to continue that. The patience! Oh, the patience! Yep. He doesn't flick on the drone, he sticks it, and he gets Wardell. No bait had there.
Yeah, and they almost were able to convert on that clone as well. They were just using that to clear things out more continuously, but now we're looking at actually TSM find what looks like to be an opposite pick, or a pick to answer that aggression towards that long side. It was a little rough to start. Dicey, like you called out, the patience, but the fact that they were able to answer really just nullifies those heroics. The plant now starting to go down, and now it's 100 Thieves in a retake. That we've seen this B site hit consistently in terms of how it is difficult for the defense to retake the site. It all boils down, I think, to start at least for Asuna, and how he's going to make his way out of the garage into the courtyard.
Here the lockdown is used to create some space. Oh, Asuna's going to get a chance to get into something spicy here. The curveball comes out, but he unfortunately flashes himself, and he gets taken out. Dicey, however, is able to support with 3 kills of his own. He still has the blade storm, but he's going to get taken out. Cutler is going to be coming in from backside. Hiko takes care of him, however, and the spike is defused. He doesn't get the final kill, but it doesn't matter. Ladies and gentlemen, we're tied up at 4.
I was paying attention. I was like, man, Cutler's really just beelining all the way around, and he had a huge opportunity there. I think if he played it a little bit more patient or communicated with Drone, who was still remaining, they might have been able to create a coordinated effort. Because I think ultimately that was the plan, right? Why would you go all the way around from C-Long, all the way to Link, all the way, you don't even go through the garage, you just go all the way around, and you try to get a different angle. 100 Thieves, correct call there in defusing the spike, but I think Drone could have been a little bit more involved in the communication there. I mean, we don't know what the comms look like. We don't know, of course, how that unfolded. But a little unfortunate for TSM there. 100 Thieves really happy about tying things up 4-4.
Yeah, especially to do so in that fashion. Once again, a defuse out of the hands of 100 Thieves, really right under TSM's nose, is proving to cause fits for them. Early on here in this 9th round, TSM showing a good bit of presence up across the middle of the map. You see the smokes begin to go out. They have not jumped in and planted and pulled back out. They're being a bit more methodical about this one. Drone's going to go in with the run it back. Hayes is able to take care of one as well. You hear the neural theft is going to expose absolutely everything as Drone somehow is still alive and is able to take care of Steel. TSM taking care of 100 Thieves here.
Well, Nitro's able to at least nullify that temporarily. It's all down to one final player. It's Dicey. The ultimate there from Drone really paying off in dividends. Manages to find himself a couple more ult points for the run it back of future. Dicey with the op. Will he decide to save it? Will he look for a couple of exit frags? Will he look to try to get a little bit more involved here? That is the bigger question. As the spike ticks down, really tough position to be in. Wardell's on the opposite side, likely I think with an op as well. Sabrosa was really just stalled by the time of Cutler and Wardell holding in garage. Gave Sabrosa a lot of time to flank around from the B site and just pull back and find that last and final pick that remained. TSM now lead by 1. And with 3 rounds remaining in the half, can we see an 8-4? Will they start that momentum again? They run 4 in a row. I don't see why not. The fact that 100 Thieves has kept things close definitely is something to consider moving into the second half.
I want to continue to keep a close eye on Sabrosa as well. That's the second time we've seen him with a filthy flank, and the guy just gets on his high horse and he books it over to the opposite side of the map where the action is. And the first time he wasn't able to impact it as much, but he certainly did there. So we'll continue to see how Sabrosa plays things. TSM look like they mulled over the possibility of going up C long. Thought twice about it. Meanwhile, 100 Thieves have taken a far more aggressive approach here across the middle of the map. It doesn't look like they have as far as guns to work with, but their presence is certainly there. And if TSM... Okay, they're going to leave Sabrosa back to catch the flank. Sabrosa is able to take care of Dicey, but...
Expect 2.
Yeah, they don't expect 2. They don't expect 2. Oh, that first shot by Steel was so costly. Wardell just swings and is able to take care of him. Meanwhile, on the site, Asuna is able to take care of something, but man, it's Cutler. Cutler mowing down 100 Thieves. Just one left for the boys in blue, and that's Hiko. Severely outnumbered and outgunned. This is a difficult situation for him.
Now at least the shock darts are there. He's going to try to do some damage. It does find its mark, but it's not as impactful. Actually manages to find Cutler with the drop down from heaven. I think Cutler, in that instance, that was the biggest opportunity for 100 Thieves to get rid of him because he was flashed up. But there was, to be fair, pandemonium on the site. Steel, if he finds that pick onto Sabrosa, that might open things up for 100 Thieves because they didn't, fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, shame on you, right? And the fact that the quick reactions from Wardell saving Sabrosa's life really continues that gun round for them. If 100 Thieves find it thrifty, that's not the way that you want to be finishing off this half. Now with the gun rounds back in swing here for 100 Thieves, let's see how they answer back for a couple of rounds lost.
Once again, a bit not nearly as aggressive, but some aggressive posturing from 100 Thieves across the middle of the map. Meanwhile, TSM taking all of the real estate that's being afforded to them as they work their way up C, and they're all going to be there with the exception of Cutler on the opposite side of the map. It might not matter. As soon as going to be the first line of defense, he's able to take care of Wardell. Hiko getting the information needed to spot one more, and there's the Hunter's Fury to trade it right back out. Dicey trying to play some fancy footwork to stay alive as Sabrosa takes care of him. Drone joins in on the action. 100 Thieves just down to 3.
They're still near and around the site. Steel's going to be relatively late to the party, and Sabrosa's going to be playing point to try to stop that. Nitro finds one, but there's still 2 in and around the site. Hayes quite far back, playing that long side, and unfortunately for 100 Thieves, that's where the spike is planted for. Nitro going to try to send a smoke down and give him some a little bit more space to work with. Cannot convert onto Sabrosa, and now it's all down to Steel. I'd imagine he may be wanting to save the weapon or look for exit. Sabrosa is about to just pass him. An unfortunate timing for both of them, to be fair. Steel now going to focus his attention towards the garage side. Looking at that hit there from TSM, 100 Thieves They had members in position to try to stop it. I think ultimately it does boil down to Dicey not really understanding where the action was happening. You saw how he ended up falling there. I believe he was paranoid, maybe blinded. But for the most part, he was just kind of lost in the smokes, lost in the utility, and he was trying to direct, where am I going to aim this operator? And gave TSM a lot more space, knowing that that was out of commission, and they could safely plant on the seaside.
I think the other interesting thing to note was Steel, before the round was over, Steel started to rotate over from A, and then it looked like he doubled back. There may have been a bit of miscommunication there as far as, do we want to go for this or not? He eventually turned back around to head over towards C, but at that point it was a bit late. Nonetheless, TSM put up another one at the potential of taking an 8-4.5, but Asuna, with the run it back, is able to take care of one early on and continues the aggression, and it's being followed up here by Dicey.
Once again, TSM want to hit the C site. Hedwig is going to let drone in. He's going to find an early pick onto Asuna on the right side. So that's going to at least say, okay, maybe this player's backside. Hiko just trying to navigate through, and guess who's on the opposite side? It's Drone. Spike's still not down. He was waiting for it. He knew somebody was still on site, and 100 Thieves, as they were trying to plan, you know, accordingly, maybe someone's still around. Dicey with a huge flank here is going to try to find a couple of these members. Now lurking back up. Unfortunately, caught with the Cloud Burst in his hand. It's all down to 2 final members for 100 Thieves, but it is a 2v3. Doable, but difficult. Wardell with the shot, gonna find it onto Nitro, all down to Steel. And we've seen this position too many a time. 2 up shots will seal the deal for TSM, and we finish the half 8-4.
Folks, this is why TSM is so good on Haven. And you even saw at the end of that round, it wasn't it wasn't Sub Rosa that was rotating all the way around to cause problems. It was Hayes, and fortunately for 100 Thieves, Asuna was there to fend some of it off, but it was still too much pressure from TSM. And again, for them to take that lead, 8-4.5, given some of the heroics that 100 Thieves was able to pull off, was just really impressive. TSM looked like they have completely left the last map behind them, and they are establishing themselves on Haven, proving that this is their playground. This is the map they demand presence on.
You know, I still think big picture there could have been a couple more, you know, like maybe a 9-3, a 10-2, but I'm not really going to judge. It's still a phenomenal half from them. And now that we move on to the second half, it's up to TSM to really carry that momentum forward, right? You've got the A4, you've got rounds that you can lose, especially with this early pistol. And starts out the favor of 100 Thieves. We'll see if that continues that way. Asuna still has to prove that he can find a couple more frags here, but he's going to back away. The entire team has been pulling towards this A site, as really Asuna has sold this C site hit, and will back away and look for contact points for any members rotating back over once this spike is planted.
Yeah, be very careful about Sub Rosa there on the flank. He may, if he goes in through the spawn, he's going to get caught up by the turret and at least give his position away. Meanwhile, Wardell was able to take care of Asuna. The spike was planted, excuse me. Nonetheless, Nitro knew he was coming, but Sub Rosa gets the best of him anyway. A 3v3, the spike has been planted. Hiko waiting around the corner. He has a good idea of where one is. There it is. The Classic's going to take care of him. Number advantage to 100 Thieves.
Still not a huge numbers advantage, but Steel just sends down the Nano Swarm. Knew they were going to come in from yellow. Sabrosa was the flanking point. Fortunately for 100 Thieves, play that well, hide in hell, allow Steel to use that Nano Swarm to do some extra damage. And that's going to allow 100 Thieves to win the pistol. Now that should, at least for the most part, nullify things to a 6-8. But once we get to that gun round for TSM, we'll really see what the defensive side is made of here for TSM in the first strike close qualifier. So at the moment, 3 Bulldogs coming in, a Spectre, Dicey likely saving up for maybe an operator of some sorts in rounds to come. But at the moment, he's just going to stick with the Ghost.
Folks, once again, this series is insanely important for both of these squads. The winner punches a ticket to the first strike main event. Top 4 gets them in, and at that point, it's going to be the ever pivotal, ever important fight for seeding. And when you're talking about the best 8 teams in North America, every single spot counts. Asuna and the rest of 100 Thieves are going to get onto the A site. Drone is taken out. Wardell gets up close and personal with the shorty, looking for the second one, dashes forward, but he's going to take a good bit of damage. Somehow gets away with just a sliver of health.
Sabrosa was looking to flank all the way. Of course, Sabrosa's looking for a flank. He couldn't find it as Nitro was playing point defense towards the A lobby side. The attackers usually push in, but now the rest of TSM really have got to worry and say, are we going to look for exits? You can see a group of them starting to head towards the courtyard, or are we going to fight for this retake? I don't really think the answer is going to be quite clear until we get later into this defusal. The time is still ticking, and TSM members are spread out around the courtyard and are heading towards the choke point where the attack usually run from once the spike explodes. We do have a player playing close. It is, of course, going to be Dicey on site. He's going to have to join the rest of his team pulling off. But he actually falls in the process, trying to escape. Sabrosa's going to find another. Down to 2 here for 100 Thieves. Yeah, we'll let you plant the spike. We'll let it explode. But we're going to make it hurt. 2 members falling to the antics of Sabrosa.
Oh, and 100 Thieves just... Oh! Okay, Wardell got taken out. And again, it's not like TSM had much artillery to work with, so they could afford to play that a bit more risky, so to speak. And while Wardell goes down at the end there, it ultimately does not amount to much of anything. Now it's going to be a gun round for TSM. Wardell may choose to buy up something here. You imagine he's, well, I guess he could save for an operator. On the other side, Dicey is going to bring in that operator that you were mentioning earlier, Simo. The other thing is Wardell is just 1 point away from the Bladestorm. He can play this a bit aggressively. Oh my gosh, how was he not punished? Okay, he gets taken out. Asuna looks like he just came around the corner with a curveball in tow and almost doesn't get the kill. Unfortunately for him, he does, but Drone trades it right back out.
Yeah, Wardell is just, I need that Bladestorm. Give it to me. Wanted to fight for it, but 100 Thieves pushing onto the A side. Steel's going to lead that charge. Sees a Cutler on the opposite side. Gets taken down by him. Shot through the big box on the A site. Dicey just trying to find some success with the operator. They brought this into the round. They want this to find success. And so far, considering they're down a member, not down and out, it's going to be a difficult task against TSM holding strong on this A site.
They do have smokes to work with. So there are some options, but TSM does as well. And we're already seeing some of that come out. Nitro going to use some of that cover to gain a little bit more real estate across the A side of the map. No cheeky flanks coming around, at least quite yet. There we see some of the smokes from 100 Thieves. Try to smoke out members up in heaven. Nitro's going to be forced back. There's still plenty of presence onto the site. Dicey goes in, but Color is this in there waiting for him. Nitro's able to trade it back out, but he only has 17 health. Hiko is certainly worse for wear as well. Nitro, who's been holding things down on A short for a while. The last one standing, Sabrosa takes care of him. TSM continue to pile on the lead.
Still a relatively close match. It's a gun round we expected them to win, and they were able to really start off hot. Wardell did get taken down, but they didn't really get far onto the A site. So for TSM, they can still hold on for a couple more rounds. The economy is in a point where another round or two, and it's going to break. And for 100 Thieves, it's going to break first. They just reset the loss bonus. You see Stingers coming in. They're forcing up, because if they lose this one, they'll be at 2,400. If they win this one, obviously 3,000 will come their way. But it's going to be a little bit more difficult than we anticipate. A C-side hit is what we're going to expect, and Wardell's going to be the guardian and not let them onto the site.
Oh, it looks like, oh, there is no drone. Wardell happens to swing back at probably the worst possible time. Meanwhile, the trade happens. Dicey goes in aggressive with the Stinger and is able to take care of him. Hiko's going to pick up the ult orb to get closer and closer. To get to that Harness Fury. Steel around the corner. Yeah, that Stinger hurts. Hayes taken out. 100 Thieves in a thrifty fashion ahead.
What a round. Like, think about how that unfolded. Sabrosa and Wardell are like, listen, we got to make something happen. We have no choice.
Oh, wow.
We have no choice. We got to make something happen. You know what we do? We're going to brute force our way down C long. We're going to read 100 Thieves stacking, a heavy stack towards the C site. No. They do send like a player or two there, but they wrap around from the garage side fast and let those Stingers do the rest. And that really catches, I think, TSM off guard. So 100 Thieves going to put a round in their pocket. And considering it was, to some extent, a thrifty, 3 Stingers and 2 Phantoms, they'll find some upgrades and feel pretty good about being within 2 against TSM.
Well, and yeah, you mentioned at the beginning of the round how important this was financially for them because they were buying down to scraps. So for them to do that, for them to take out a couple of members of TSM and for them to have gun upgrades going into the next round really does bode well. And here we see some of the implications of that. Nitro didn't have a ton to work with, but his buddies did, able to buy up for him. Asuna's going to get some of the love as well, and they're going to be able to come in with plenty of guns to work with. Seal's not going to have, oh, it looks like he might be bringing in the light armor. On the other side, for TSM, that play that we saw at the beginning of the round that got word out of the Bladestorm, now we're going to see the implications of it. He's only going to be bringing in a Sheriff, but you imagine he's going to use it early on here. Oh no, he just goes in aggressive and he gets punished. Dicey's waiting there with an Operator. Wardell gets hit in the mouth.
Honestly, the paranoia goes a little south. Sabrosa now actually teleports back towards the attacker spawn. Steel is looking for him. He's hunting, and Sabrosa will punish the investigation of the crime scene. It's all down to the 3v3. Sabrosa is going to be playing point, likely looking maybe for a flank. He does know that 100 Thieves did come from that side, so a flank may be a little bit more difficult to deal with. And they're going to use Hedwig to spot him out. Great presence of mind. They have to deal with Sabrosa because he's a problem. He's always a problem. And now it's all down to two final members, Drone and Cutler. They're pushing in. They find Nitro down to the 2v2. Dicey's gotten op, and he's going to be holding it down long. First, the clone's dissipating. Now it's down to Cutler and Drone. They might try to defuse. They might try to at least flash them off the angle. So far, it's not working out. That's a Hunter's Fury. Nico's like, yeah, you think I'm going to let you defuse the spike? No, sir. Dicey and Hiko combine their efforts, deal with Sabrosa, and stop the defuse from TSM. Very well played from 100 Thieves.
100 Thieves continue to stand strong. TSM had an excellent start to this map. They had a big lead going into halftime, and 100 Thieves on the attacking side have proven that they can hang with the best of them. And yes, as I mentioned earlier, a couple of members on the side of 100 Thieves aren't necessarily lighting up the scoreboard, but fundamentally, they're playing this very well. Hiko saving the Hunter's Fury there for that exact moment, was able to take care of things, but the deed is not done, at least quite yet. They still have a couple of rounds to go in order to take down TSM, and that's certainly going to help Asuna getting an opening pick there.
These aggressive looks from TSM, I'm just going to be flat out honest, aren't working. They're not working. They need to play a little bit more passive and let 100 Thieves make the mistake, because currently their aggression is causing them to make mistakes. We saw early on Cutler, he sprayed the left side of the window. Why? To allow his teammates to push into the courtyard. Guess who was waiting? The attack played passive. The attack just hung out back in spawn. We're chilling, waiting for TSM to push in, and look what happens. 4v1. Cutler's the last player standing. The patience from 100 Thieves really boded well for them this round, and I think the over-aggression from TSM, they gotta think a little bit more about how they want to execute it, because it can work. We've seen it work. You and I casted a ton of complexity where they made it work. But at the moment, 100 Thieves are finding great ways to deal with it.
Cheeky little spot there from Cutler. But it doesn't look like he's going to get much of an opportunity to put that into use, unless Nitro continues to rotate over. He might get a shot on him. Oh, yeah. Oh, furthermore, a couple of other members. Oh, yep. Didn't even get a chance. Nitro got there first. You saw two other members from 100 Thieves coming back that way, right into Cutler's crosshairs. But as we mentioned, no dice from Cutler. 9-9. Ladies and gentlemen, as 100 Thieves have roared back after the slow start with 5, of the 6 rounds this half. They're sitting pretty right now. They've got money. They've got guns for days. They're going to have plenty of armor to boot. The thing is, TSM has plenty to work with as well, at least this round. This is a very important round for TSM. You lose this one, it's going to hurt the next round. All of a sudden, we're talking about 100 Thieves at 11-9 potentially.
A lot of ultimates available here for 100 Thieves as well. Asuna is going to force the issue and push up the garage side, gather a lot of space for 100 Thieves to work with. He's actually just CS surfing straight through the garage, finds a lot of space for Steel to move up. And we know Steel to be in positions like this. This is going to be an incredibly deep lockdown. Look at how much that's going to cover. TSM are going to want to deal with it while the rest of 100 Thieves are pushing in from the Lunk side. The only person there is Hayes. He's got to survive, so they're going to try to take it down. Steel's going to protect it with his life, and Sabrosa's going to die. Now Hayes in trouble. Shock Dart's going to find him. 3v5. TSM have to retake.
100 Thieves still have a couple of ultimates to work with as well. They haven't expended all of those resources. You see how aggressively is positioning, Oftentimes you'll see them play off the site, but when they have 5 people to work with, they can have more of an aggressive spot. You also see Steel rotating around, trying to see if you can spot anyone. Members of TSM are starting to pull back, save up what they can, because of the financial implications that we discussed at the beginning of the round. For TSM, if they lose this round, and it looks like that's certainly going to be the case, for them to be able to take guns into the next one is of the utmost importance. That's the best case scenario for them right now.
Well, I see one. Oh, sprays are going to come through. Steel's going to try to swing alongside Suna, and he's going to be taken down. The 3v2. Only one member will fall. The Odin will fall. So I think that's quite important to say. Nitro, unfortunately, a little too close to the danger zone. He's going to fall to the spike. A little mistake there from 100 Thieves. But I have to say, the way 100 Thieves have been able to really suppress Wardell, the Wardell suppression machine really coming out here for 100 Thieves. They're able to, every time these aggressive peaks have come out from Wardell and Sabrosa, really ultimately quite a handful of times towards that C long side. And to be fair, that even that orb control towards that A long side, 100 Thieves have just been at the right place at the right time and be able to deal with it. And he hasn't really had an opportunity to come online. Another operator for him this time around. This is a round that he needs to come up big for TSM.
And once again, excuse me, another aggressive peak from TSM. Down A long, you see Drone has taken up a lot of ground. He's moved his way all the way up, not knowing Steel is just on the other side of the wall. And if he swings, Wardell's going to be waiting there with an operator bullet to greet him and send him into the next round. Meanwhile, 100 Thieves not playing anything aggressive, not showing anything quite yet. The spike hasn't moved very much at all. Looks like they are starting to rotate back over towards A. But again, that's probably not where they want to go.
I like the patience here from 100 Thieves because this setup from TSM is actually very beautiful. They've got so much control on the A-long side, and they've stacked towards the C side. If 100 Thieves come in, they're just going to keep trading until it's down to the strong players from TSM, hence Wardell and Drone, and it's going to be very difficult for 100 Thieves to push. And so now they're going to execute on both sites at the same time. This smoke doesn't give a lot of information to TSM. They don't know if they've crossed. They don't know if they've come through. And now it's all up to Nitro to get back onto the site, help them out, and Wardell's like, uh-oh, I know. I know what's going on. We usually see him land those. Nitro's going to take him down. Drone's going to play point. He'll find Hiko. It's a 4v4 retake for TSM.
Yeah, but they know where Drone is. The spike has gone down. The operator is sitting just right in front of Dicey. He has the Phantom to work with right now, but you see members of 100 Thieves start to pull away from the site, knowing that Drone can be a problem if left unchecked. First one's going to peek. It's going to back off. Meanwhile, on the site, Color's able to take care of Nitro. Drone finally drops at the hands of Asuna. Now they can turn their attention over onto the site. So Rose is there on the flank. He's able to take care of Steel. No 100 Thieves just down to 2 members left. Hayes gets taken out as well. And oh my gosh, TSM do it. They take the site back. They defuse the spike. And we're going to be knotted up at 10 apiece.
Beautiful stuff there from Drone. He was playing incredible point defense towards that banana side. That's ultimately what you have wanted to see from that play. Heavy presence towards the long side on A, and then stack towards the C side with all that Cypher utility. That was the call that they made. Yeah, you're giving up the B site, but you're comfortable with retaking it anyways, depending on how you want to play the round. So the fact that Wardell dies, it's a little unfortunate in the way that he died. Like, usually, that's like, we see so many clips on Twitter of him just letting the Omen commit to the teleport, and then he quickly flicks and takes him down. Nitro able to survive that and then takes him down, but Drone was the hero for TSM while the rest of the team broke open onto the site and retook it. Now we're tied up. An important round for both teams to establish dominance.
Joke's over.
Guns across the board from both squads. There's the one ultimate on the side of 100 Thieves. Run it back has been used. That's going to give 100 Thieves presence onto the C site. Subrosa once again. He's going to be on the flank. Oh, he's on the flank. He's able to get one. And it's going to be traded back. The rent back from TSM is there, but Sabrosa continues to cause problems for 100 Thieves. They're just down to 3.
Steel is trying to wrap all the way around, go through the A side to the defender spawn, but TSM commit everything towards the defense of the C site. All of the utility, Sabrosa with the hero lays, not allowing that utility to benefit 100 Thieves. And now it's all down to Steel. This puts TSM 11-10. And now I think for 100 Thieves, you're thinking, how do we want to play the rest of this map out? There's not many rounds left. We can fight for overtime. But if 100 Thieves 2-0 TSM here, that is an incredible statement piece for this new roster. I had highlighted they have address their demons against tier 2 teams. They just needed to address their demons against tier 1 teams. So now we're looking at a potential comeback victory here for TSM, but it's hard fought. 11-10, that is a tough battle for TSM. But the fact that they've got the round lead here
10 seconds
bodes
left.
well for them in taking us to map number 3.
Unfortunate peak by Steel there. TSM welcomes him and dispatches him just as quickly. Guns across the board here for both of these squads, and 100 Thieves still have a couple of bucks to work with. Not a ton, but they are going to have a little bit to work with here. You see an operator, some money shifted around to get an operator into the hands of Dicey. Wardell's still going to have his, and he's got plenty of dough to work with as well, should things continue. TSM looking to extend this series to dispatch 100 Thieves here on Haven and force things to the next map. And again, with a top 4 spot on the line, 100 Thieves looking to do everything they can to keep it from getting to that point.
Definitely the case here, and we're seeing 100 Thieves. Yeah, I don't want to go to that C site anymore. It's not fun. TSM have a pretty good grasp on holding it down. Mom, can we go to the A site instead? Yeah, sure, little Timmy. Sure thing. But this time, 100 Thieves with an interesting look. I mean, TSM have been playing strong to either side, and B site has been relatively passive. This time, Wardell, his spidey sense is tingling, telling him that there might be some action. And of course, there's also a smoke down. They don't see action towards the long side. No smokes, no nothing. They don't see action towards the C long side. So they're anticipating a cheeky play. Sabros is ready for it, and now it's all down to this unfortunate spot where the spike has kind of lent itself. The paranoia will help at least dissuade from retrieving it. Now they'll start to bring it back with the 4v5. TSM start out strong.
No options anywhere across the map for 100 Thieves. B didn't work. They managed to recover the spike and consider
Match
going
point.
garage, but they were met with a flurry of bullets from TSM to push them to match point, 100 Thieves unable to find an answer for the last 3 rounds, and it comes down to this. They're not going to have full armor across the board to work with. They are going to have guns, but things not looking good for 100 Thieves here.
You know, it started off incredibly hot, especially on this attacking side. They've got to string 2 in a row, and look at the economy. It's not in a great spot here for 100 Thieves. So TSM on the precipice of taking us to map number 3. Once again, Wardell with the aggressive peek. Drone's going to find himself at least, or was that Wardell that found? It was, oh, okay, it was Keller, okay. That makes a little bit more sense. Hedwig's going to find a couple of members up to no good in the sewers, and Wardell's still peeking. Now he's got to reposition, say, hey, I think there might be some action towards the sewer side. In the meantime, Sabros is in a position to deny the rotate, the fast rotate towards the C site. So 100 Thieves, they don't have a lot of time to act because they need to. This is, you know, a map that they could clean up. Steel and Dicey going to find 2. Wardell's out of commission. They're going to find another. Psych, they won't. It's all down to the 2v2. Nitro alongside his compadre Hiko. I've got to decide where they want to get this spike down.
Plenty was invested over by A. It looks like there still might be more. Another drone is going to be the first line of defense.
Oh, no.
Unfortunately, he gets taken out. That's going to give 100 Thieves full license to rotate away. They're going to have the numbers advantage. I don't even know if Cutler wants, or excuse me, I don't even know if Hayes wants this at this point. He's got 17 health. He's severely outnumbered. I mean, it's not like they have much to lose as far as guns go because they have money for days, so you can risk it. But 100 Thieves should be able to get onto the site and get it down with relative ease.
Well, you also have to remember, sorry, excuse me, that there is a Hunter's Fury. Oh, that's so fortunate for Nitro. He gets out. He's going to play the link side. He's going to try to wrap around, leave things up to Hiko. Hedwig comes through. Hayes doesn't smell this or hear this, but he knows that Hiko is pushing forward. Oh, beautiful play from Hayes. Neuraltef's going to spot out Nitro, and Nitro is behind. It's all down to Hayes. 17 HP up against the 1 HP Nitro. They're playing cat and mouse, but Nitro finds it. A beautiful play from Hayes, but Nitro has the shot, and 100 Thieves one away from overtime.
My gosh, this map is going down to the wire that easily could have gone the other way. Hayes played that so well, and again, he didn't have very much health at the very beginning of that. Going into that 1v2, he was at a disadvantage. For him to be able to play aggressively, knowing where Hiko was going to be, get that down to a 1v1, and then really almost win it was really impressive. 100 Thieves, however, They were underdogs going into this match. They were able to deal TSM a significant blow on map 1 and are now chasing the opportunity to get into overtime and potentially put TSM away. Folks, it looks like we're in a bit of a tactical pause. We'll get you back into the action as soon as we possibly can. It looks like I'm being told that it's 100 Thieves who have called for this pause, wanting to take a moment, wanting to reset, and ensure that they have all of their proverbial ducks in a row to get us to overtime. Ooh, Simo,
Yes.
this one's big.
Yeah, well, let's talk about this round. 4 ultimates for 100 Thieves. Let's have a quick look at the replay of that last round before we dive a little bit too deeper into the round at hand. Hayes, this cyber cage play was beautiful. It's his own, so he can go through it without a hitch. And now it's all down to this 1v1, which unfortunately tries to at least bait it out, but he needs to defuse. That's the problem. So Nitro, all he needs to do is hold the angle. Looking at this round, though, as it's about to begin, Wardell and Drone are going to be the biggest problem for 100 Thieves. If they can deal with them, if they can deal with Wardell's shot here, that's going to be the big benefactor. They can't. He's out. He's gone. Finds the pick onto Asuna, and now it's 100 Thieves down to 4.
Oh, the damage has been done, but it looks like 100 Thieves want to push the situation anyway. Steel, considering the lockdown. You hear the Bladestorm has been used as well. They're investing everything that they have into this thing. You hear the 100 Furies being used as well to try to clear off some space and get onto the site. Wardell is just on the outside of it as the 100 Fury, was able to take care of the lockdown. 100 Thieves are going to get onto the site. You hear the spike is going to go down. There's the other 100 Fury. This one coming out at the hands of Hiko. Dicey choosing to go a bit more aggressive here. Keep an eye on Sabrosa on your minimap as he once again is on the flank. That turret potentially going to spot him, give him away. Dicey in the smoke. Just on the other side, he's able to get one. Looking for the second and is going to have to back up. Gets challenged, gets the second one as well.
Dicey.
And he gets the reset. He's looking for the third. Dicey does it. Oh my gosh.
Oh my goodness, Dicey. The fact that he gets through, the round's not over yet. Looking at Wardell, he's gonna drop down to the 2v2. Hiko takes us into overtime.
Switching
That was
sides.
absolutely
Overtime.
unreal. Dicey's Bladestorm unlocked that round for 100 Thieves. And then, of course, who else but Hiko to put this thing into overtime? Let's take a look at that one more time. That was just so damn beautiful. How could we not? He gets the opener onto Cutler, repositions, gets a second onto Hayes, and then he's like, I gotta get out of here. Oh crap! There's Sabrosa, who was on the flank the entire time, and dispatches of him as well. But TSM brought it down to the wire.
They sure did. Hiko, of course, there towards that sewer side. Now it all boils down to this. If you're unfamiliar with overtime rules, this is your new introduction to how competitive Valorant runs. Well, both teams are going to flip-flop between the defense and the offense, and they'll all have 5,000 credits to spend. Their ultimates will be reset to half, rounding up, so 4 out of 7 or 3 out of 6, depending on which agent you're playing. So we're seeing Dicey here opt in for the operator. That means that he's going to have no money for utility, no money for armor, nothing. He's just committing to the op. That's important to note because a lot of the TSM members are in and around that area where the op is located, but they've got to focus on this push towards the B site. Wardell's going to get taken down. Nitro now backing away the 4v5 in favor of 100 Thieves.
And man, he messed up Sabrosa as well. Also very intelligent of him to be firing through the paranoia the entire way down until he got to cover, ensuring that if Sabrosa were to keep that again, he'd certainly get that win. Dicey getting a big pick on there, as well as TSM is down to 3, but Drone getting in on the action. A very good curveball to even things up as TSM get on to A.
Now they're going to be forced into the retake here for 100 Thieves. You're going to see that Hot Hands and the Cyber Cage go down. They are not going to be walking through that. That just really confirms the safety of this spike being planted. Down to the 3v3. We do have an injured Sabrosa. But for the most part, TSM are held onto the site. We have a player down in hell, Drone, alongside Sabrosa, playing a little bit further from the plant spot. We also have to identify it's not a default plant spot. It's in the most absolute corner of Spike. Of where it is possible to plant. But now they're starting to come through. They trade Drone with one. Now it's another one that's coming in. He's looking for the ace, starting to run away. It's TSM that'll take down 100 Thieves, and they only need one more to take us to map 3.
Sides.
Oh, and Drone with
Match
the
point.
big 4K there for TSM to get us to this point. A very strong presence. Once things got down to the 3v3, things look very good for 100 Thieves early on, but TSM, again, able to bring things down to something respectable, to even grounding. And then, well, really, that was all she wrote. They were able to take care of business. Once again, on the side of 100 Thieves, they're going to be bringing in an operator. TSM not going to be responding in kind. What they are going to be doing, however, is playing very aggressively down C long, and guess who's there? With operator, it's Dicey.
Again.
Dicey takes care of Wardell, and the retrade was there. However, Sabrosa gets the best of Hiko. He goes in aggressive. Nitro dispatches of him. 100 Thieves numbers advantage.
Yeah, now they're going to try to at least push out the smoke. Hayes is playing point defense, and as soon as backside's going to find one, it's traded. But the advantage is still, of course, to 100 Thieves. Paranoia's not going to flash out the right side. Hayes wasn't playing towards that side, and now it's all up to Hayes in a 1v2, but the spike is not in possession of 100 Thieves. Dicey and Steel, and it's all up to Hayes. He's going to play towards logs. Dicey, sees the weapon. Now it's down to Steel. Neural theft this round means he knows exactly where Steel is located. Now they're going to play Duck, Duck, Goose, hiding behind the cover. Steel just holding on. 40 seconds left. Hayes has to move because Steel knows exactly where he is. He's just holding the angle. Pre-fires the shot down to the 1v1. That's the camera. He's going to bait it and swing. Bait it and swing. He cannot find the shots. Steel survives with 30 HP. And ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go again.
Overtime.
And really, the onus was on Steel there because they were on the attacking side, and Drone, Hayes knew where the spike was. Steel was the one who was going to have to mosey his way across, get onto the spike, and then try to plant it, but he couldn't. He was just locked down. There were no options for him. That was such a difficult situation, and for the 1v1 to go down to the wire like that, again, just a testament to how well these two teams have played, how evenly matched they've been on this map. This thing has delivered from top to bottom.
Once again, it's the battle of C-Long. We've seen this time and time again, but Dicey with the crossfire. The shots are going to land through the smoke. The wall goes up. Asuna trying to escape. Cutler will put the nail in the coffin down to the 4v4. A bloodbath here down the long side. And a lot of the members of TSM have committed to this action. They're now going to start to pull away and maybe reconsider where they want to get that spike planted.
Well, and if they can get any information from Hayes elsewhere on the map that can kind of open things up and give them some more options to work with. It looks like he's considering working his way up garage. Dicey has that angle on lockdown as you see members of 100 Thieves start to slowly but surely rotate their way back towards C. Cutler gonna try to get some info. Yeah, Wardell goes in, and oh man, Dicey rips his head off.
Yep, that's an important factor as well to consider. Down to one final player as Hayes. He seems to always be in these positions. The spike is, of course, to his left, as you can see there. But the rest of 100 Thieves are here. They know exactly where the spike is. A clean headshot from Hayes. That's going to be two Hayes in a 1v2 scenario. Steel starting to rotate over, but Dicey swings from behind the box. And now 100 Thieves are sitting at eliminating TSM from their tournament life.
On the rematch. Guys, the last time these two teams met, it was not pretty for 100 Thieves, and it was on the exact same two maps. So 100 Thieves certainly did their homework. They're playing a completely... They look like a very different roster relative to what we saw last time. For them to get things as far as they have is, quite frankly, really damn impressive. This 100 Thieves roster continues to get better and better, but they've got, again, to cement this, to get this big win, the big win that they've been trying to get over a T1 team, to demand that they belong in the top 5 conversation, if there was ever a time to do it, against anyone, it would be here, against TSM for a top 4 spot in the premier Valorant event. Sabrosa's able to get one, but he gets traded out. Steel works his way up, and he's met with Hayes, unfortunately, in the garage window. TSM up 1.
Yeah, they anticipated the same aggression towards that sewer side. We've seen what, TSM kind of flip-flop between how they want to play the defensive side, constantly applying pressure towards C-Long or A-Long. This time they guess A-Long, and it doesn't work out. But the advantage in terms of who is still alive does favor TSM. They're going to start to rotate through, figure out how they want to get onto the site. We've seen Spider in a position like this similar. A lot of Omens actually play towards that side. And a lot of defensive teams don't anticipate the Omen playing there. They still check in nonetheless. Recon Bolt's not going to help out with that. He thinks they're coming from that side, but they're not. He's just going to reposition. The Recon Bolt's helping out. Wardell has no idea. Nitro with 2! Nitro with 3! It's all down to Hayes and Hiko flanks. 100 Thieves have